All right, my friends. Welcome everyone. Everyone who is here tonight, who has come to be at this live stream. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for really taking time to be with me and supporting this channel. It means a lot. Each one of you who are watching at the moment, those who will come later through the night, I'm not sure how long we're gonna be here. It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours, 3 hours, who knows. It's been up to 3, almost 4 hours sometimes, which it takes a toll, but it's fun to be able to come here and be able to be back. This is the 3rd week after a long break, being able to talk about collectibles and pre-orders. But before we get into it, I want to wish all my friends, everyone, I want to wish particularly my friends in Asia, in China, my friends in Southeast Asia, I think in Korea too, and everywhere there is a diaspora of Chinese citizens or Chinese descents, or Chinese people around the world. It is their celebration, of course, of New Year, Chinese New Year, and it's the Year of the Dragon 2024, starting strong. And I wish you all the best of luck throughout the year. Thank you very much for support. I have a lot of friends in China, a lot of people in Asia, a lot of friends, and I know it's that time of celebration where they gather with their families and they celebrate also celebrate the memory of loved ones and ancestors and all that. So it's just an amazing experience. So I want to say to all of you, to my Chinese friends particularly, good luck for this year. Happy New Year, and I wish you all the best and the best year. Fantastic and full of everything you desire. So that's my hope, that's my wish, and that's my prayer for all of you. So I want to say welcome everyone definitely tonight, because of it, of course, because of Chinese celebration, because of the New Year's Chinese celebration. A lot of companies are kind of dormant for the moment, but it's because a lot of people in China, particularly in many countries in the area, they take the time to be with family. They close their businesses. It could be up to 2 weeks of celebration, or I think, or more sometimes. People travel, so because of it, a lot of people don't get the opportunity. A lot of companies, of course, they are not fully all into a lot of the collectibles, so they kind of hold on during this time to do a lot of releases and pre-orders. Of course, many companies are from China, or many companies are based in China, or they have dealings with China, so it's important. They are the ones producing, manufacturing, so they kind of hold on to that time and respect, and also because there's nothing to do at the moment. So of course a lot of companies kind of hold on to the opportunity to present pre-orders, but that doesn't mean that they're not pre-orders. There's a lot of things that happen this week. It always starts kind of slow, but then kind of picks up by the end of the week, and we have a few things that we need to cover around. We're gonna again, if you're here for the first time, if you never been in this channel, my name is jpsarrireviews. I've been a statue, toy collector, die-cast collector for almost to the point of 25 years or more. A statue collector, maybe 20-something. Figure collector, I since I was a kid, I guess, but collecting like close to 25. The same for die-cast models. So I've been collecting so many things. I love to talk about collectibles. I love to talk about statues. I like every company. I like a lot of things. I grew up in the... I'm a child of the late 70s, but I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, so that, we can talk about a lot of things. And I've been doing YouTube videos for the past 11 years now, so it's been an amazing ride for sure. So welcome to the channel. Please, if you like this channel, you like the content, please subscribe to the channel, support the channel, leave a like too. That helps me out. Leave a comment through the night, or you can leave a comments afterwards. And normally what I do with this live streams, because they can be extensive and sometimes people don't have the opportunity to watch them live, you can always come back down later, the next day or whenever, and I always add timestamps as soon as possible, which is by the by tomorrow we'll have timestamps, and then you can follow the timestamps, and that kind of, if you're only interested in one particular collectible, so that way you know exactly what we talk about throughout the night. So welcome to all of you, and let's get into it. The things that we're going to cover tonight, we're gonna start, of course, I like to start with scales. I think that's the best way to do things. So we're going to cover, and let me make sure, I want to make sure that the audio is working, because sometimes I don't even know. Or I hope you can hear me well. You can hear that. That's pretty cool. So I want to welcome everyone that is coming throughout the night. Again, we're going to go through the list. We're going to talk about a company that I've never talked about. I just discovered recently, and I've seen some of the stuff, some reviewers, a company that produces toys, action figures, but they produce amazing stuff. The company name is XesRay Studio. I want to talk about them. I want to see exactly what is they going to share with you, what I found, and the things that seem very interesting about this company. We're going to talk about Super 7. We're going to talk about Threezero. They have a few releases this week. We're going to talk about X06 for Star Trek fans. They have a new figure to the line of the Voyager line. We're going to talk about McFarlane toys. McFarlane is celebrating the 30th anniversary of the company at the toy company. So they have they have a couple of things, but they have one statue, Spawn statue, that I want to cover today. It's important, I think. Spawn is such a figure. We're going to talk about another company that I've never spoken here. It's Medicos. They produce a lot of figures, PVC figures, based on anime or manga. We're going to talk about a pre-order from them. Another company called Myethos. This company, I've never really seen their stuff. I've seen a couple of things, but I never really talk about them here on the channel. So today we're going to cover the stuff, the one item that they have at Sideshow. TriEagles Studio, they have something. We're going to talk about HEX Collectibles. We're going to talk about XM Studios, of course, the new Spider-Man, Symbiote Spider-Man that they have on pre-order this week. We're definitely going to talk about Sideshow, the new the Spider-Man PF, which has a lot of people excited. We're going to talk about PCS. This company is definitely every week is doing something. So PCS is really doing amazing stuff. We're going to talk about Prime1 Studio, and ultimately we're going to talk about Queen Studio. So definitely, even though it's not as packed as before, definitely we're going to be able to dive into a lot of the things here. And you're welcome to share your opinion throughout the night. And I want to welcome everyone to the chat. All right, let's start first. Let me go to, we're going to start first. Let me look at the stuff. We're going to go to the first page, which in this case, I think I might have a brain freeze right here. All right. Let me know how the audio, the music is too loud. We'll check it out. All right, so we are coming. Hopefully we can see it. Oh yeah, we can see it right there. All right, so we coming to Big Bad Toy Store, and the reason I'm coming here is because this is the company. It's on the forefront, as you can see. This is the first thing that we're going to cover, and in this case, it's this Combatants Red Rhino 1/12 scale figure. This is an exclusive action figure, but this is a figure. This company I just recently discovered, and it's really surprising to me the stuff that they're producing. I feel that they are doing some really cool stuff. And they're very unique. They're doing their own creations, which is always good. It's a great start for any company, because that way you don't have to pay royalties or anything. You're creating your things. So it's a small company. It's just started to follow them, but I saw the stuff here that they have, but also I seen some of the stuff they have. Their Facebook group, which is it's a place where you can go. And we can go there in just a second. But this is XesRay Studio. I'm not sure where they're based. I know that they were at Wonder Festival in Japan just recently, so I'm not sure if they're based in China or something. I'm sure there's manufacturing in China, but I don't know if the studio is based somewhere else. But this is the figure. They're not cheap, but they're not small either. This is $94.99. This is going to release on the second quarter of 2024, which is very, very soon. Now, what I like about this, and looking at this, is the figure. It's massive, and it's, of course, this is with the 1/12 scale, which is an average figure, technically on this size. But this is a very massive, very nice looking figure. I personally love big figures. I am a big fan of big figures. I collect a lot of figures, and if they're big, the bigger the better. And this one even does have, like, nice additions. The quality is there. Of course, the price, to people will say that's too expensive. I think it's a good price when you compare them, what the Storm Collectibles is selling, and this is a very nice size figure. And I see some of the reviews of some of their figures on here on YouTube, and I'm impressed by what they're doing. It's a really nice figure. As you can see, the very nice detail. Even the hair. Of course, this is a prototype, but we're going to look at some pictures on Facebook so we can compare. So, of course, because this prototype pictures, they always look nice, of course, and you have all the background and stuff. I don't know if it's Photoshop or they use some type of, you know, background that they can take pictures, some art back there, some backdrop. It's a pretty interesting looking figure. And I love this sculpt. I don't know who sculpted this. It reminds me of some of the sculpts of the Shiflet brothers, the Kucharak brothers, and even the Four Horsemen. Which, by the way, they also are producing some of their great stuff. And this is technically they doing like, you know, like a Roman Colosseum concept where they have all these gladiators. So they've been building all these different figures of different scales and sizes, and definitely this is a very unique take. Even though the other figures might be all right, I think just this particular figure, I like the way it looks. And man, they have tons of pictures here, as you can see. And all the parts that come, the hooves, you know, have these hooves, the normal feet, the hands. Very nice accessory there. But here at Big Bad Toy Store, if you kind of look into the stuff they have there, look and see, these are the most recent ones. They got the Combatants Brothers of Slaughterhouse Tales. And these two are combined. I think these big figures are great. Look at this one, for example. Look at the design on this one. I love this type of figures. And I think that what they're doing here, I'm not sure if this is just one person that owns or this company and does the design. Look at the other gladiators. That is a very, very unique figure that looks really, really neat. And if we look at the other one, this other one also looks great. Very nice figures. Definitely not cheap, but I love the size. And sometimes you just want things that are unique, you know, like I'm the type of person that I love action figures. And here you can see the others, the infantry 112s. These are the soldiers. So they got that. And yeah, I'm okay with that. They even have in stock, for example, you can see they have the accessories. So you want to go for that. They had some other figures that they have produced before. A lot of them are sold out here. As you can see, they've been doing well. But in my opinion, these are the best figures that they have. Now, if we come to Facebook, I'm going to take you to their page. And here is their page, which don't have really a big following of them. Well, it does have a following, 3.2 thousand followers. That's not bad. Or 3.8 and 3.2 likes. They also, you know, they're doing some new things here. As you can see, female figures, they seem that they have it really done well. They know exactly what they're doing. Look at this figures right here. Those have great detail. This was just recently done. And I think this is something that they already came and they are shipping all this stuff. Here's the packaging. They are shipping all these figures, and in my opinion, they're amazing. Even the way they do the art. And here you can see they're ready to ship. And this is the new one that we just saw, the one that is on pre-order. Look in comparison to the others. This set is amazing. In my opinion, this is amazing stuff. This is the stuff that you want to see with action figures. At least that's what I want to see when I'm looking at action figures. I want to see things that are big, huge, humongous, great detail. And these are the stuff that the prototypes that they showcase. And I think this was a Wonder Festival. But they're bringing more and more characters. As you can see, they have more of those. Huge. That looks really neat. Those are great. That's the Wonder Festival, the summer last year where they were showcasing all that. It is great. What they're doing here as this company, I personally love this type of companies that are doing things that are different. I do like it because I feel that these companies are doing something unique, very inspiring, and definitely something that I personally would like to see more in the action figure world, to see even in the statue world. Companies doing, and companies are doing, there are companies that are doing their own art, and it's very unique. And definitely I think there is a market, and there's also a need. It reminds me of the time, even as a statue collector, where everything was kit based. You know, they were garage kits. Those are the things people were doing, things that were not with licenses at all. They were doing their own creations, monsters or so on, and all the type of characters that they were coming up with, and they were doing amazing stuff. I think that kind of brings back to those times where, you know, companies are just there just to do something, not just to give you the next Iron Man or the next Darth Vader statue, or, you know, they're doing something different. It's not always based on the same characters or the same franchises. That they're sometimes done to that, you know, and they still popularity, of course, with Marvel, DC, and Star Wars, but you want to see things are different. Not only other franchises, but also things that are unique and different. I think this has the proper, the right amount of uniqueness that attracts me in that case. All right, so what we're going to do now, let me go, we're going to go to the next company. And let me take you, while in this situation, let's go to Super 7. We're gonna go to Super 7 because what we're doing here, I want to cover the new piece, this new figure, which is the SilverHawks Wave 5. And I'm a big, as I mentioned many times, I'm a big SilverHawks fan. I love SilverHawks. I've been collecting this line. I've been collecting the Thundercats line. I've been kind of slow. I've been collecting particularly the bigger figures. I've been concentrating on the ones that I like the most. And then, of course, I'm going to complete it. But I'm going to complete this collections eventually. I like them. So Copper Kid was the one that a lot of people were asking. And there was a high anticipation for Copper Kid for a long time. And they finally released it. This wave, with the strange thing about this wave is that there's only two things there. There is a figure, which is Copper Kid. And there's a vehicle. And I have mixed feelings about this. And I'm going to present it. And I think the biggest problem that I have with this set, first and foremost, is the price point. $205. I found that very steep for only one figure on a vehicle. And this vehicle, it looks nice, but I don't think it's worth that much. I think if you add another figure, then you can think about a wave, maybe the vehicle for two figures based on the stuff that they do. I think that they're just going too crazy with it. However, on one hand, I'm glad that they actually, with this, they kind of complete the main roster of the SilverHawks. You know, because this is the needed one. You also have the others. Steelheart, you got the brothers, you have, you know, everyone else. But you needed this one, so at least I'm glad that this one is done. Maybe this is what completes everything, but I feel that they trying to kind of go out with a bang, at least selling it too high. Let's just look at this stuff. First and foremost, as I mentioned, and I have to be clear with this, I'm not crazy. I'm not happy with the price. I think they're just asking for too much. Now, let's look at the stuff that comes inside. Of course, the pre-order just started. It's going to end on Sunday, March 10th. So we have a month for pre-order if you want to pre-order directly from them. There is a plus, this super pack. If you order directly from Super 7, you can order this from Big Bad Toy Store. You can go to any other place. But if you come directly here and you order this wave, then you're going to get some extra accessories. We're going to look at them today. But here you can see everything that comes with it. That's the vehicle. And that's, you know, the kit. And, you know, the wings and everything else. And so it has all those things. It looks great. I know he looks great. I think they did a fantastic job with his likeness. And the vehicle actually likeness is pretty neat. But, you know, at that price point, and it's just basic art, you know, it doesn't have a light-up feature. It doesn't have any electronics or sound. It's just that. Big tires, that's about it. And even if you consider the price points that they normally sell this stuff, they've always done in the past. Normally the figures, they're around $50. You can sell this one, which is a lot of people they're not happy about. I would say Copper Kid is $50. You know, easily. They selling then the other one for $155, or they're doing $55 for Copper Kid and $150 for this motorcycle. You know, that should be no more than $100, in my opinion. It looks great, not denying it. And this, you know, it's a nice figure. You know, I'm glad that it's there. They did a fantastic job with it. You know, with and I'm not sure this is just renderings or this is actually the final prototype. Although, you know, all prototypes are, you know, subject to approval. I do like the way they do the base, the way they sit the base for that vehicle. It looks nice, transparent like that, you know, because it's in space. So I think it is very cool the way they did it. The figure looks great, design-wise. Here you can see the heads that come at a serious one, the one that is more happier, you know. Then you have, of course, the one with the helmet completely on, in this case the face mask, and then the hands, of course, and the hawk, the SilverHawk, all that, and do different functions with standing or flying. So it's cool. And this is what it comes, the effects of the, you know, the guns there. That's about it. And all this is painted. There's no light up feature there. I just find it too expensive. Now, if you pre-order this is the part that gets me, because you got to pre-order this and the super pack to get the super pack. And the only thing that I care about, I don't really care much about the weapon thing there. That weapon with that kind of, I don't remember exactly what that is, but what effect of the power of the gun that is. The thing that really gets me is the extra portrait. I like the extra portrait because he's winking the eye, something that, if you remember in the cartoon, if you watch the cartoon, that was something that he used to do. He was always like winking, particularly at the end of the episode when there was like an advice for kids, something that we watched with cartoons back in the 80s, with there was always this, you know, give you an advice of life for children, all that. And there was always that advice, or I think in this case, there was no advice. It was more about science, because that SilverHawks did that with about, you know, there was a science, and at the end, he will just be winking the eye. If I remember well, you know, of course, being so long, I haven't watched the SilverHawks episode in a while, although I need to always say that I'm going to watch the whole thing. You know, I watch it from time to time, but I don't, you know, I don't really do it all the time, you know, maybe every 5 years. And I do have all the DVD collection. But yeah, you know, I like this, but I don't feel like paying that much money for these two figures. I feel that that's too expensive. I think they're trying to manipulate you to buy it because they give you the best portrait, which actually should be a portrait that should have come with the figure itself. So I gotta be honest with you, I'm not necessarily happy with the way they're doing it. Now, here you can see there's a video showcasing that. They're trying to make it looks nice, but man, you know, this is the type of thing that you wait until there's a better price, you know, and you pay just half the price. That thing is too expensive in my book. I think, you know, I paid for big Transformer figures $100, and they fully transformed. This is not transforming in anything. So I don't know. I feel that this was SilverHawks' show. Yes, it was. It was one. It was at the same vein with the Thundercats. It was the same company that produced Thundercats. It was actually the follow-up Thundercats. They created SilverHawks, and the same studio after that did what was that? The Tiger Sharks. Those were great shows. SilverHawks was one of my favorites. It's a fantastic show that I recommend you to watch it. But yeah, it was the same studio. They follow in the success of Thundercats, and they decided to follow it with the SilverHawks. It was not as successful as Thundercats, but it had a really strong cult following around the world. So it's definitely a great show that you should watch. It's pretty cool, and it's in its own right. So I would say that I'm not necessarily happy with it. Now, if you want to buy them separately, here you can see you can go for a Copper Kid. It's cartoon accurate. It says $55, or you can go for the Space Racer, which is $150. I just, you know, but then you're missing on the extra portrait. So technically, it's kind of, they're pushing you to do it. And here you can see, actually, I was looking at some of the pictures they people have uploaded of the SilverHawks. And some of these pictures are nice. Of course, these are Instagram pictures, I guess. I do have some of these figures. I have this one and that one. I'm missing this one and I'm missing that one. But yeah, I have a few and still in package. Here are the brothers, you know, the twins. I like it. So definitely Copper Kid is the one that was missing. So I'm glad that they're doing it. Here you can see there's are really amazing figures. They look great, man. But yeah, I will tell you this. I feel that the price is too steep, and they should just they need to give us a better price than that. I'm not keen with it. I'm necessarily not happy with it. So yeah, that's my opinion about Super 7. Definitely, I feel that they're doing the wrong thing on that one. They need to control that pricing. They always criticize about the pricing, and definitely this one is not exception. And I think that they're asking for too much. Now, let's go to Sideshow, and we continue with figures. But I'm gonna talk about another company that, in my opinion, is doing really also amazing stuff. Here you can see. I mean, look at this. They're doing already selling some of the stuff, the Velociraptor male, the bonus version, stuff that we talked about last week. They're already selling it here. Oh, I like this James Bond Dr. No Collector's Edition book. That looks pretty cool. And as we know, Superman is coming, another PF. Whenever that goes from pre-order, we'll talk about it. So some of the stuff here we're going to talk. But I want to talk about first about this company, Threezero. Threezero, it's always releasing stuff. They released 2 things this week. And I want to talk about this one first, which is the Iron Man Mark 85. This is the deluxe version. These are not really big figures, just around, I would say dimension-wise, they're like 7 inches. So they're very tiny. But they all fit well. But one thing about like about these figures and themselves is that they have a lot of die-cast elements. Here you can see on the details, for example. Of course, it's marble, as you can see. Additional details is made out of ABS, so it has plastic elements, POM, PVC, and die-cast zinc alloy. So it does have die-cast. The die-cast zinc alloy is the same, of course, they use for die-cast models. So they do have die-cast elements. And these are not big again. These are within the 7-inch. So they're around the same size of Nikke figures, which is fine. Some of them are around that. But it looks great. It does have all these elements, of course. Here you have the all interchangeable parts. Of course, this is based on the Mark 85, which was on the Infinite Saga, the last suit. It looks great. I've seen some of the figures. They have showcased, and even at the Sideshow Con, they have showcased some of these figures. They really look great detail. It's like looking at mini Hot Toys without the interchangeable, without the Tony Stark's portrait, but they're like Hot Toys on a smaller scale. And Threezero seems to be very popular doing these figures. They're great. They're very postable. A lot of people love them because of the detail, because you can do so many things with them. This is definitely a great figure, and it has detail. This is not necessarily my favorite suit from Iron Man, the MCU for Iron Man. It's not my favorite. It looks great, but it's not my favorite. And here you can see, now they're painting this. I'm not sure if that's light up features that I don't see, or it's just like painted in that type of blue that looks very bright. Maybe they just some type of neon paint that make it look like that. Of course, I'm sure that they kind of photoshopping some of that to make it look even better. But yeah, it has all the interchangeable parts, so you can do different poses. Definitely, it's not bad. This is around $100, and keep in mind that is because, oh, it actually does. Looking at this on the notes here, it says the LED lighting functions are located on the lightning refocuser. That's what they call refocuser. The pair of cloud blasters, the arc reactor in the chest and the eyes. Additional equipment and accessories include energy blades, 5 pairs of interchangeable hands, effect parts for shooting and fight poses, and a DL action stand providing a wide variety of display. So it does have light up features. It has an LED. So that probably is gonna take batteries. I'm imagining. That is kind of cool. Oh yeah, even better. So I think that justifies the price. You know, with the, you're looking at, you compare this figure to what we just saw with Super 7 with that motorcycle. That motorcycle has no light up features. This has light up features, and it's a lot smaller, of course, but it has die-cast elements, and it has a lot of those things that actually are technically more challenging when you have to put the figures, when you have to assemble this type of figures together at that small scale. So they're asking for $100 when they're asking for $150 over there. You know, there's no comparison. I think this is a price that actually is well deserved for a figure. In comparison to what they're trying to do. I think Super 7, again, like I mentioned, it's no sour grapes here. It's just, I think Super 7 is definitely is trying to eat the whole thing. It's just trying to eat the whole cake by itself instead of just thinking of, hey, you know, what's actually feasible. Now, there's another thing that they released, and this is the Nemesis Prime for the Transformers The Last Night, which I really don't care about that film much. It's very forgettable in my opinion, but I watched it. But this is another thing. And looking at the photos, before we go to the details, let me go so we can see. Actually, let me increase the size of this so we can see better. Right there, it says, it does have batteries. It says right there, it features an interchangeable battle mask along with the crimson face markings on the distinctive purple LED illuminated eyes. It requires AG13 batteries ×2, and batteries not included. So it requires the tiny batteries. So I think that's the same batteries that they use for a, you know, for your watch or something like that. One of those sizes. So looking at this, look at that figure. This one is taller. This is almost 12 inches. So it's kind of like the gladiators that we just is this within the same scale. But this one has die-cast elements, interchangeable parts, LEDs. So, and it has a lot of functionality. There's so many different parts. It's very poseable. It's a very high-end quality figure. And I've seen Threezero. If I've seen Threezero figures, they know how to make them. They know how to do them in a way. Interchangeable hands, all of that. It is steep. I'm not gonna deny it. I think that I would be more comfortable paying $200 for this figure rather than the $240. But I could say that I can understand why, and there's popularity in it, and I'm sure there's people that are gonna go for it. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think they're trying to rob you. I think they're actually trying to be fair with the price. Here you see Bumblebee right there. So they're pricing things accordingly. So I'd say I go for it. Nice figure. If you're already collecting this line, another Transformer I think is great. This figure is also Threezero. You don't have to buy them here. You can also go to Big Bad Toy Store. You can go to what else? Even Spec Fiction has them. So you can go anywhere. Whatever places you want to deal, you know, Entertainment Earth, so many places you can go. So there's no like a special here, or like you got an extra or an exclusive item. They're all the same. So it's good. You know, Threezero is doing amazing. This Nemesis Primes looks amazing. I like it. You know, I think for the size, they're great. You know, they're not, of course, Prime 1 size or Prime 1 in the sense of quality. What I mean about the level of detail that Prime 1 does. But they're great figures that actually look great on display, and you can do a lot of poses with them. So that is awesome. All right, so while we're here at Sideshow, actually, let me take you to X06. Let's go to X06, but then we come back to Sideshow. Here we have a new figure, which is this pre-order. You can order through X06. X06 doesn't have like things. They don't offer, like, I think they do. They might on this one. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So we're gonna find that here. So we're looking at the pre-orders here, and the most recent pre-order is this. It's Neelix, or Neelix, I think that's what it's called. You know, it's a character. If you're into Voyager, if you're into the whole thing, then definitely you're gonna know this character. It's 200. A good thing about pre-ordering directly from X06, I think, is cheaper than going anywhere else. You get like a special discount. But here you can go for the, you know, you pay the non-refundable deposit, and then you pay the amount at the end, which is the final amount due is $225 plus shipping. So technically, one good thing about X06 is all you have to do is to pay for the deposit, and when you pre-order, which is great. At the end, you just pay for the rest. So now looking at the figure, and here you can see the end of this pre-order ends on February 27, 2024. Estimated delivery time is the third quarter of 2024. I will tell you, X06 is very good at release times. It's in a fully articulated body, more than 30 points of articulation. Allow the figure to be displayed in multiple dynamic poses. Approximately 28 centimeters tall, which is within the 12-inch range. Realistic portrait. Neelix portraits is lovingly rendered by top artists, with an excellent likeness of Ethan Phillips in full makeup. Each heads-up skull is specially hand-painted. Talaxian outfit, meticulously researched. Neelix's colorful blue costume recreates how he was dressed in many significant episodes. All right, so we can go there. Now, I don't like the way the way set up for the pictures. It's something that let me see if I can do it. You have to open the screen. I don't like it. So we're gonna go back to Sideshow. So I can take you to so we can look at the most recent right there. It's the same figure you're gonna find. The only difference, of course, I like it over there because you pay the deposit. You only pay till the end. You don't, you know, but you can choose a payment plan here, and you pay a little less over there in comparison to what you pay at Sideshow. But when you're looking at the pictures, great detail, of course, of the actor. This outfit is, I think, the final outfit that he wore on the show. It's a really nice outfit. Nice choice. This is definitely not a figure for everyone. This is a figure for big fans of the show and big Star Trek collectors, which in the end is what people who collect X06 because they're fans of it. I do, you know, I like X06, but I don't collect everything, and I wish I could if I have the money, but I don't. It comes with different parts. As you can see, different hands. It's very nice figure. I think they did a fantastic job. You can nitpick and complain about this. Some people complain perhaps about the smile, the way he's doing his mouth, but I think they went for something very unique. Another thing that I was listening to the owner of the company, he was posting on Facebook. The reason why they went with this color is because the other color was more like a brown. They just had to go with something with blue to give a little bit of more contrast to this collection, because there's a lot of different colors, and they all kind of look the same. And the whole collection, they want to have different. They want to have contrast, and instead of all having the same outfit or the same type of outfit or the same color difference, instead of just going all into the brown. It seems like there's a lot of browns in this collection. So they decided to go for something that it kind of breaks the mold, or kind of breaks that difference of color. The yellows and the, you know, the kind of earthy look, and they went for the blues. That's the choice that they took. The choice that they made. I think that was a good choice. It looks great. Definitely great detail. I tell you, Exorcist, great figures, nice detail. Well done. One other great thing about Exorcist, I love the tailoring on each of the figures. They're all done perfectly, in my opinion. I love what they do. Definitely, this is, you know, we can say that there is some likeness, perhaps some disparity with the likeness, maybe not 100%, but when I see it, I know who I'm looking at. Definitely is the actor, and definitely is the character. So with prosthetics and makeup, so it looks great. In my opinion, it looks great, and it fits so well. So they did a good job again. Exorcist showcasing that that's the reason why they do what they do, and they're good at it. And I'm glad that Exorcist continues to prove and that they're capable, and they continue to provide a great product. So that looks good, in my opinion. I like it. So this is the last figure that we're going to cover. Now we're going to go into a figure which is more of a statue, and for that I want to take you to let's go to McFarlane Toys, and particularly to the McFarlane store. But I want to say to all of you, well, thank you very much for your support. Thank you. Please do let me know. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Let me know what you think about it. Also, leave your comments. Let me know you're watching. Do figure companies use this, some of the same factories too? They always have great likeness. Yeah, companies use the same factories. Well, there are a lot of factories in China, but a lot of the companies, actually, they share the same factories. Some factories, they work for different companies. And there's a few that are great companies in China that actually almost are used by everybody. There's a few companies that everyone uses for a lot of things, and they're great. Some companies have their own factories, like I know Hot Toys have their own factories, but it's because they've been in business for a long time. Other companies, they technically share, or they use the same places. So technically they go by that, you know. They use different factories. They go to different places. I really don't know the ins and outs so much of it, but I have talked to people in the business, and they to deal with them, and have dealt with some too myself when we were doing some custom pieces. And I know that there's technically the same companies that some of these companies use, like Sideshow and the others, to produce some certain things. And there's different levels actually of what you pay, the quality that you receive, because they have different tiers and stuff like that, which is amazing the way they do it. China definitely is very practical in that, but they're capable of doing it. Okay, so we're coming here to McFarlane Toy Store, and we're going to talk about this figure, the Spawn Wings of Redemption McFarlane autograph 1/8 statue. This is the gold label, but there's actually 4 different versions of this. Now, this is something I like. A lot of people are excited to see this. There's some good things we're going to talk about. There's some bad things we're going to talk about. But let me go back first to the front, because I want to show you. Here you can see. Let me drink some water. Here you got the 30 years celebration. Wow. As you know, and as I mentioned before, you know, Image Comics celebrated its 30th anniversary not long ago, which is an amazing feat. Amazing feat for sure. But also McFarlane Toy Store as a company is celebrating the 30th anniversary, of course. After Image Comics was created, after, you know, Todd decided to go and do his own thing, he just created his own company as well. And that's when the beginning of McFarlane Toy Store, McFarlane Toys started, producing so many different things, figures of Spawn and all that, which are, in my opinion, iconic. Now, when I listen, for example, to Sideshow, when Sideshow goes and says that they've been 30 years in the business and they're celebrating their 30th anniversary, I take that with a little bit of grain of salt. I congratulate them for what they're doing as a company they started 30 years ago. But 30 years ago, Sideshow wasn't producing action figure or statues. 30 years ago, they were a company that was actually designing or producing or manufacturing different statues. They were just a studio that were doing certain things just for other companies, whether it was Mattel, whether it was even McFarlane. They were doing stuff for others. So it's not like they were producing their own stuff. The reality of the company started technically in the 2000s, early 2000s. That's when they actually started doing, you know, like their own stuff, particularly starting with toys, action figures. Yeah, it looks great. Action figures. And then, of course, they move into doing their own, you know, statues down the road. So it's technically been a journey at the company from humble beginnings to what it is now. But 30 years ago, Spawn was already producing figures. And they're actually one of the pioneers of the way that we do figures, the way that they produce serialized figures, with something that actually was taken by Bowen from Spawn, from this case, from the Spawn figures, and he implemented into the statue world. So in reality, a lot of the things that we see in this collectible market and collectible world, a lot of the practices were started with McFarlane toys. So McFarlane is definitely a pioneer. And it's nice that he's celebrating the 30th anniversary and he's doing this. Now, I gotta tell you one thing. It's a nice figure. It's a nice statue. The only complaint I have about this statue, let's see if we can go there. Here you can see there's 3 different variations of this. You can get, of course, you can see all the figures that they're selling. You can buy the regular one, which is this one. The Wizard Redemption. This is with the digital collectible. This is the one that you're gonna see in many stores. You can actually pre-order the one that has an autograph. It's a gold label, and it has an autograph, card that is autographed with Tuck McFarlane, which I will tell you one thing. He has signed so many things. He's like Stan Lee. He has signed so many things at this point. Many of his toys comes with the signatures. To me, they don't really have a lot of value. You're going to pay on this technically $19, $20 more just for the signature. Just save yourself the trouble and just get the other one, because you're not going to display with the card. Even though the card looks cool, you know, McFarlane gives those signatures away so easily. It's not like he signed them personally. They're just signed. Like, I think he does in some way, but most of the signatures are just stamped into something that he already signed. So it's not like, oh my God, you're getting an original signature. But hey, be my guest, you want to pay the extra. It is the same statue after all. Or you can get 2, which you get the gold label, which is the one with the signature, and the regular one. I don't know who wants to have 2. 1 is more than enough. But when you look at this one, it's a great price. And this is PVC. Well, this is kind of vinyl. That's another thing. You know, I don't know. And this is another pet peeve that I have here. I don't know why he has decided like this to do this. Like, why he couldn't do like resin is beyond me. You know, it's 30 years. It's celebrating. It is a big landmark for any company. And the fact that he continues to do like the PVC really kind of gets people, you know, in my case, I get like, okay, why can't I just get a little, you know, do something a bit more premium, as he has done in the past. When he celebrated the 20th, I think the 25th anniversary, there were statues, real resin statues that were amazing. A Spawn, why he cannot do that and he just go with PVC? Maybe it's just another addition. Maybe he's gonna do some. You know, this is a great statue. Don't get me wrong. This is based, of course, on the issue 77. The cover drawn by Greg Capullo. I also Tuck McFarlane. They both do it, but actually it's mostly Greg Capullo. It's a great cover. A fantastic cover of that issue. Of course, of the redemption storyline. And, of course, here you can see Spawn with these wings as an angel, which is something that you didn't see much, actually. Because, of course, he was a Hell Spawn. It looks great. It looks great. I like it. You know, it's a nice figure. I think last week we were talking about that. You know, he hasn't been doing a lot of statues. He has, but it's always more like on the cheap side. This is another cheap statue in some way. You know, it's not a bad price. I think and display looks great. My pet peeve with the figure, maybe see we can see it here in a moment. It's, let me look at this one. Let me see if we can see it. There's a seam right here. I don't know if you can see it right there, but there's a seam right there in the neck. There's a line that cuts, it's a throat between the head. I don't know if you can actually move the head, position the head in different ways, but it looks very ugly. Of course, you can, if I can see it on this picture, I'm sure it's going to be very visible. Now, the most recent Batman statue that he did looks fantastic, which technically is that Batman statue. It's just a copy of the original by DC Collectibles that came out years ago, the black and white. It looks amazing. The size scale, but in PVC looks great. I'm going to actually get those because I really like them. I really like them. So I'm gonna get those Batmans, and this actually could look good, but I don't know why he allowed that scene to be so visible right there. You already have a statue. Might as well just finish the job and not have that scene, because people are gonna complain. It looks like a bad job of a bad figure. So is it a statue or is it a figure? You know, yeah, you can have interchangeable parts, but you couldn't just hide the seam in a different way. That's the only pet peeve that I have with that, because I'll tell you, it looks great. It's not bad. And definitely it's a 1/8. So it's within the others that they have produced, a 1/8. Here you can see there's a video. I don't know if we can see it. Let's see if we can see it there. Let me cut the music. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if we can open it a little more. I don't know if you can see it right there. Okay, so it was just very quick. It was not even enough to warrant for me to do it. But yeah, look at this Batman. They're completely sold out. Both sold out. They look amazing. I'm kicking myself. I was about to get this one sold out. Whatever. So I'll get it at some point. But this is the blue one. This is the black one. Look amazing. I think this is definitely a gray one that actually can go alongside. It just, and you can find it anywhere else. No, it's not the only place you can find this statue. You can go, for example, you can do, and I will tell you one problem that I have ordering directly here. Unless you want the one with the signature, you come here. But if you can go, let's say, to Spec Fiction, for example. I saw that they have it at Spec Fiction. I'm sure it's going to be available, you know, even on Amazon. Here you can see it right there. You can go to Spec. 50 bucks. And that's just a regular one. But you know what? That's all you need. You don't need that extra card, which just looks cool. But, you know, I already have the comic, so I don't need it. I have the the Ultimate Edition and the cover, all that. So I have it. Again, look at the seam. Here, this picture, it's actually very clear. That seam is like terrible, man. It's like they did the cut and they just implanted that head in there. That is a disservice to a beautiful statue, in my opinion. They should have done a much better job. And definitely, this should have been better if it was resin rather than just... Because that doesn't even look like PVC. That looks more like vinyl, you know. Unfortunately, and this is the prototypes. Imagine how the original is going to look. So, yeah, it can be improved. Still, I think it's a great design. Great sculpt. I don't know who sculpted this, but it's definitely based on the art of Greg Capullo, and it looks fantastic in my opinion. I think it looks great. I'm just going to wait until it's actually on sale, and I'm sure you're going to be able to find it at GameStop and places like that. So I'm going to be able to see it in person and see if I really like it or not. So it looks great, you know, in some way. What do you think about the base looking like a little flat? Yeah, that base is something that a lot of people are complaining because the same thing happened with the Batman. It's just a very black, and it says digital because actually this is another thing. He's been trying, this McFarlane Toys Digital, something that he's been trying to promote. He's been trying to promote his digital store where you buy collectibles, digital collectibles, which I think is a dumb idea. Anyway, well, we buy digital stuff, but he's been selling it and he's actually promoting it. And I will tell you, he's a mastermind when it comes about promoting his own stuff. He's great promoting his own stuff. But doing it on this, it just makes no sense. They should have just simply have there. If you're going to do a flat surface like this one, it should say Spawn. Or something Spawn. Or it should say the 30th anniversary of McFarlane or whatever. It should say something like that instead of saying McFarlane Toys Digital. Because this is the same thing as he has done with Batman. Let's see if we have anything. Oh, okay, this is the only one. The only one they have there. But if I go to back to McFarlane store. Let me show you with the Batman, for example. Let me show you this. With this Batman. This is the digital version. The regular one is just black. But the blue one, which is the digital version, has the same base. It says digital. So he's just promoting his digital store. That's all he's doing. And what you get, this is technically you get a digital version of the item, which goes into your digital collection, which I don't know who will like it. That's kind of dumb. You're going to spend money on digital things. Well, I do buy a lot of digital games, but I'm playing with games. I'm not just collecting statues which are in a digital world. That to me is a little bit of a I don't know. It just, I still, you know, there are a couple things that I prefer to have physically rather than digitally, and collectibles is one of them. Statues is one of them. Action figures is one of them. Yeah, games I can have digitally, but statues, no. I need to have the physical. I have to have it physically in my hands. I need to see it in person. That's just my opinion. But there you have it. That's what McFarlane is doing. It looks great, but I wish McFarlane, if he's celebrating the 30th anniversary, he should have done something much better than that. You know, like just a cheap PVC statue after 30 years doing amazing stuff. Man, come up with a statue, a real statue. You know, people will buy it. People will buy it. Whether there's a quarter scale, even at 1/6 scale. If there's a resin statue that is nice, of course, you know, he can do it. He can do it. I'm sure he can. Of course, he had relationships with the same factories that we're dealing with DC Direct. So I'm sure that he has the knowledge and he knows the people that can help him to produce the statue. And he has done it in the past. He has done amazing statues in the past. I don't know what's the fear. At the same time, I can see Todd has always been a pro-consumer in the sense that he likes to sell products that everybody can afford. And everybody can have, and I will say that that's a good thing, because some companies, they concentrate particularly on only a niche group. They only care about the high-end collector, but he cares about all collectors, and that's something that if you see it from that perspective, is great. However, at the same time, I feel like, you know, you can splurge a little bit. You deserve it. You have done so much for the collectibles world, for comics. You deserve to have a better statue to offer. So, and he has the money. Definitely, the company has done a lot, and so he sells a lot. So yeah, that's something that probably I'm gonna die on this hill, but hey, I feel that he could have done a lot better with that. All right, so where we at? Thank you very much for everyone that is actually watching right now. Appreciate your support. Thank you, Late Night. Always a pleasure. Let me drink some more water. It's always a pleasure to be able to share. And we're doing pretty good time. We really cover a good thing. But we still have some way to go. We have more other figures to cover. All right. Let me take you. We're going to go to... Let's go to Big Bad Toy Store. And there's a new... I think it's here where we're going to talk about this company. Definitely Big Bad Toys is doing really amazing stuff here. Look at all the figures. Look at all the amazing stuff. I love to come to Big Bad Toy Store. I love to see what they have here. This is a company, Medicos, that produce a lot of figures. And they have some really expensive figures, as you can see. And also because they are doing some work with... Well, actually, no. This is actually Soul Wing, which is another Chinese company. Art of War, this company, and Prime1. So, okay, so they have all the Berserk stuff. This is a quarter scale. That is expensive. As a quarter scale, and Soul Wing makes amazing stuff, but that is beyond expensive. Even more expensive than the Prime1 Studio stuff there, which I consider even better and more proven. But here you can see everything. Right now, so many companies are producing stuff. Max Factory. There's so many things to choose from. But the company that I want to discover here, or the company that I want to cover and I never really talk about, is this, Medicos. This is Berserk Guts. This is Black Swordsman version. 1/7 scale figure. This is going to release, and it's already on pre-order, but it's going to release on April of 2025, so it's a year from now. Now, this is, this company does PVC, ABS, so those, they... in this case, it's plastic, but it's high quality plastic. It's a lot of the figures companies, the Asian companies, they produce a lot of these figures. A lot of them are amazing. 254, and definitely with the popularity of this character, definitely is going to sell. So here you can see it's a 1/7 scale, approximately 10.43 inches tall. From the Berserk anime series, highly detailed, includes additional parts for a variety of display options, so you can change things. You have the Guts figure, launch star face parts, additional arm parts, cannon hand, and French effects and base. So it does have a lot of things where you can actually change your display and do different things. But here you can see the figure. This is definitely based mostly on the manga. When you look at the face, it has that. It's not really based on the... Sometimes you can see base it on, and some things are more based on the animation, on the anime. This is based strictly, I can see it, on the comic book, in this case on the manga. And it looks really good. it does have all these little details. Now, the only effect with the gun that he's shooting with that effect, not necessarily as crazy with it, but it does have different effects. I really like the pose they chose for this. Now, the picture here is not the best, and that's something that I would say Big Bad Toy Store needs to improve on their pictures sometimes. But definitely has great detail, and definitely I can see the cover art. I can see the art there, the comic book art. And that sword looks very bloody. Intriguing. Definitely there's great detail. Here's with the gun. With the hand, that looks great. And that is explosion. Not sure if it had a light up feature. It would be nice if it had some type of light up to present that explosion of that gun being fire. Now the base is okay. There's detail there, but it could be done better in my opinion. But it's not a bad figure. Now this company, Medicos, I've seen some of their figures. I wouldn't say that they're the best figures in the world. I've seen some of it. I think the quality still there's some work to be done. But they also do like a lot of this JoJo Fist of the North Star figures, action figures. And I will say that those figures do really look really good. Like for example, this one here. Those figures look great. So this company, it's a company that definitely is doing some new things. And those figures, they definitely remind me of Van Dyke figures. And the JoJo Bizarre cool figures there. So that's pretty much what they've been doing. The figures primarily, as you can see, a lot of different figures, action figures, that's what they're doing. And there's a lot of stuff that they have here on stock. But they do some of those statue figures. And, you know, some of them, they're very unique and different. Like this Black Lagoon, Rapi. It's an interesting version of Rapi right there. Look at that one. Very different, very unique. I don't remember any, you know, I watched the Black Lagoon, but I don't remember watching an episode like that. I think that's just more of a inspirational type of thing. I watched the whole series, so I know I don't remember any of that. But here you can see the figures. And definitely a lot of JoJo Bizarre and a lot of statues. So, you know, Medicos Entertainment is a company that definitely does a lot of this stuff. That is what they have operated. But as you can see here at Big Bad Toy Store, you can find a lot of the stuff that they produce. Whether it's figures, whether it's statues, anything that, of course, is based on anime, which is based on manga. So I think that's where they okay. I think that Black Lagoon, they base it not on the TV show. They base it on the anime. That makes sense. But, you know, there's a lot of things that they do. It's an interesting company to pay attention to and see what we can find. Spread Eagle. Yeah, Spread Eagle. Yeah. So they have a lot of really interesting. Look at this one. This other statue that they have available. Look at the ladies. Definitely interesting. So, you know, yeah, they do have some for people. And there's, you know, sometimes one thing that I don't cover as much in this channel is the anime statues, because there's so many. There's so many companies producing stuff. It's hard to keep up with it. It's just, it's amazing the amount of what there is. And, you know, of course, they do a lot of PVC stuff, a lot of ABS. But that doesn't detract from the beauty of these pieces and the quality on the stuff that they produce. They do amazing work. These companies do amazing work. And they're not cheap figures. So it's hard to keep track of all of these companies for sure. But this is Medicos. This is what they produce. Now, I'm going to take you to another company. But for that, I'm going to go back to Sideshow Collectibles. And we're going to go to Sideshow, because I want to talk about this company right here. This is a company that I've never really talked here on the channel. Myethos. My knowledge of Myethos is very small. You know, it's a Chinese company as far as I know. And they produce a lot of anime, particularly the stuff the stuff that I know that they have produced so far. At least the stuff they have at Sideshow is for League of Legends. So they do, and League of Legends is such a powerhouse of you know, it's they have produced so many. There's so many companies producing so many collectibles, and there's so many characters, of course, of the League of Legends. So it's a sea, you know, of characters that I don't know much about because I don't play League of Legends. So, but I'm always amazed about the statues and the collectibles that are produced for this gaming franchise, and they do amazing. So this is a company that produces for them. And this is Spirit Blossom Ahri, and this is a 1/7 scale statue. And this one, I think on this one, when look at the details, it's also made ABS, if I'm not mistaken. ABS, it does have metal parts. I don't know what the parts are made out of metal. It has PVC, so it has, it's just like the standard figure. But what I'm amazed by this one is how beautiful the detail of this one is for this character. I love the base. It is not a cheap figure, as we can see. Once you're looking at some of the best quality of this, is that within the standard of this figures at this price range is $275, $300, something that you're gonna see a lot. I do love the transparent ABS or PVC that they use here to create that effect. I don't know if it's like a tail or something on her back, but I like the way she's sitting down. I like the base is a simple, but it's not flat because it does have a couple of things there like water effects and the little plants, and she's on, you know, it is a beautiful representation of this figure. It's a beautiful figure, and that is the reason why as soon as I saw it, I said I need to talk about this one because it looks amazing. Now I don't know now anything about this character, but when I can see something that it looks amazing, I can tell you, I'm gonna tell you right away, this looks like a beautiful figure to have. There's gray detail, the paint job is really well done, and this is a figure that you can sit there and looks amazing. I don't know if there is some type of translucent image here. I don't know if it's just it's more like it seems like it has like a translucent blue, so maybe in certain lighting it will change or have a special effect, the plastic. And those are curtails, but they look amazing. And this is a figure, sometimes I see many figures that they look simple, like they look too basic and they're asking for too much money. And of course, based on characters on anime or manga or video games, Asian video games, and you know, a lot of this RPGs and stuff. And sometimes you wonder why they're asking for too much. It seems like people are buying them, but to me, is they're simple, they're boring in the sense that, you know, it seems that they're all the same way. But when I look at one that is very different, then I'm gonna say something. And I think this is very different, very unique, and I like that. I love fox, water fox. The effects on the base. This is a beautiful, well put together figure, well designed. It's a well crafted piece. Nice figure. Definitely, I think it's worth the price. And of course, there's always gonna be people saying, you know, PVC is not worth that much. But in my opinion, when you craft something like this with so much detail like this, then definitely it deserves to be praised and to be priced accordingly. Now, to get an idea what Myethos is producing, we can look at some of the other stuff that they're producing here. These are the pieces that they have. They're on sale here, and for example, and they're all, of course, based on League of Legends. You have Maven of the String Sona. This is another figure. This is on the wait list now, but also interesting, nice detail. Everything kind of plays. I think she plays the harp, so actually this whole team, even with the bass, I like the detail. So it's a great. It's a great figure. It's a great figure, you know, like PVC figure. It has nice detail, as we can see on the pictures. Nice paint job, nice detail. So this is one. Again, this is on the wait list. Now, if we go to look at the other one, this is the other one. This is also on pre-order. This is Divine Sword Irelia, also League of Legends. But look at that one. Very nice detail. Looks really nice from different angles. This is another beautiful piece. Very nice detail, nice paint job, really nice detail on that. The swords, beautiful. Yeah, this is a beautiful also figure. I wouldn't call it figurine because they're not that small at that scale. I already have some really nice size, but definitely there's great detail, as you can see. I like this one more than the first one that we just than the other. But in my opinion, from those three, this is, I would say, if I have to choose between these three, this is definitely, I would put that as the third one on my list. 340, they even were even more expensive, $39. This one I would put it as second, but I would say this Spirit Blossom Ahri is, in my opinion, the best one. I like the simplicity of it. I like it. Let me look at this is going to release in 2025, but that's also, they're all the same scale. So this is what surprises me, that these two are the more expensive ones. As you can see, almost by $75 more average. And I think the better one, or the one that looks the most, or the one that is more appealing to me, is this one, which is the cheapest one. I think is the best one. So it's a beautiful depiction, very nice, well done. I love the whole thing. I love the concept, nothing distracting. Everything is well put together. It's a beautiful figure, no doubt. Oh, wow. The one with the sword is awesome. Colors are going nicely together. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think they're all great. This is a great, and, you know, again, this is definitely for the League of Legends collectors, but they look amazing. Love the color, nice combination. The color pops on these figures. They all look great. They all look beautiful. That is for sure. All right, so let's move. And now that we're moving from this, drink some more water. We're still kind of going through the. Now we're gonna enter into the we're gonna enter into the quarter scale, but we're still kind of going with things that are based on video games. And there's a lot of things that I wanted, like, for example, this statues. These are Good Smiling Company. There's a lot of figures, and there's so many different figures. For example, this is $500. I think it's too expensive. There's a lot of these figures, PVC, all kind of figures that actually are now Sideshow selling, and they're great. They're all great, but you know, some of them, in my opinion, they are eye catchers, and they all look amazing in their own right. But the one that catch my eye was this one. It's just the perfect combination, the perfect design. It's perfectly done. It's well balanced. It's such a great piece. So let me take you to we're gonna go to Spec Fiction back again. So let me go to Spec Fiction. And the reason why we come into Spec Fiction here is because I want to take you to look at this figure that is produced by TriEagles Studio. This is another Chinese company, which I think is fantastic, and the price is awesome. This is Nikke, Goddess of Victory. Actually, it's a video game. It's actually, the video game is Goddess of Victory Nikke. I think that's what it's called. This is also another free-to-play game, and that is a 3D it's not a 3D. It's a 3D shooter. You know, it's a shooter, a 3D shooter that actually is. You know, I've seen some of the videos, but I don't play it. But this is based on that, and this is one of the characters there, one of the playable characters, Rapi. That's the name, quarter scale statue. And I think the price, and TriEagles Studios is a company that has different prices, but I think the price is excellent, $645. What I like about this statue as a quarter scale is that there's the amount of detail that they added to this one from the base. As much as I don't know much about this character, I think it's fantastic. Look at that base. Look at the detail on her outfit. She's holding that flag. All of this, if I'm not mistaken, is sculpted. But it's done in a way that is really well done. The paint job is excellent for this piece. You know, I don't collect this. I don't know much about this game, but I can recognize that they have done a fantastic job in bringing this character. And I've seen some of the art. I've seen the art that they took inspiration from, and the likeness is uncanny. They did a really fantastic job with this one. It is a really good job there, as you can see. And here you can see different angles. It looks great. The eyes. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that you actually can do something with the eyes where you can accommodate the eyes. I think that's what I read. Here's another piece from this collection. As you can see, they're both side by side. They are really nice pieces. Definitely, I like the guns. Of course, it's always great detail with the girls with guns and all that. I love that. But they did a really nice job with it. It is really, really well done. So if I go to Facebook, let's see Facebook. Let's see if we can do TriEagles Studio. Maybe we can see more pictures of it here on Facebook. Here you can see that's what they're promoting, of course. As they started promoting, this is the statue they have. TriEagles have done amazing. I have here in the channel, I have talked many times about the stuff that they sell, and I'm always blown away by the things that they have done in the past. Here, look at the detail there in the bag. They do amazing stuff. You know, they talk about like Ghostblade, for example. I cover some of the stuff I was covered last year. Some of the stuff that they're producing. Beautiful statues. The stuff that they have done for Naruto. They have done so many different things. And I think there's a studio that does amazing work. One of those studios that you have to pay attention to because, you know, there's like companies producing statues right now is like dime a dozen. There's so many. Like, look at this one right here. It's the one that we saw. There's dime a dozen. So many companies producing stuff. But to find in the middle of everything, it's hard to find the companies that stand out. In my opinion, even though TriEagles doesn't have the same popularity as XM Studios or Sumear or some of the other companies that people know, I think it's a company that is producing stuff that is actually has a lot of potential and something that you have to really pay attention to because I think it's beautiful. It stands out in comparison to the others. So I in my opinion, I think TriEagles is a company that you have to keep an eye on, that if they continue doing what they're doing as they've been doing it, they will go places because so far they have done amazing statues. Some of the stuff they do in the presentations when you go to Wonderfest, places in Asia, when they do the presentation, you see those, they really look great. It's a company that definitely has a lot, still has room to grow, and I think, but so far I think they're doing terrific with what they have so far. So that is a good thing, to see companies actually thriving as they are doing it now. Yeah, so my friends, this is so far. This is what we have. Definitely, we covering some ground. I want to say, late night trip, you've been the only one commenting, so I appreciate that. I will say, anybody that is watching this, do not forget to leave a like. Just let me know that you're watching. Support the channel, allows me to continue producing videos. Consider also supporting through Patreon. That would be awesome. Or you can actually also support through the super chat. It's up to you. But everything you do really helps me to keep building the channel. And tell your friends about it. Share this with others. All right, so I'm going to take a quick break. So I need to walk. You know, I need to do some walking. I can be sitting down. I've been sitting down all day at work. And now sitting down here is not something that I enjoy. But coming back, I want to talk about HEX Collectibles. If you're a Naruto fan, and we have a beautiful statue from HEX Collectibles. We're also gonna talk about, of course, XM Studios. They have the Symbiote Spider-Man. We got amazing piece. We're gonna look at Sideshow with the Spider-Man PF. We're gonna look at PCS. We're gonna look at Prime1 Studio and Queen Studio. So we're going to the big hitters when I get back. So let me know in the comments how you think about everything else, and you know, I'll be right back in just a moment. Thank you.
girls with their nails done now. girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their
All right, guys. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be back. Take a little break. Thank you for those who are watching right now. Those who are watching, will watch in the future. Thank you very much as well. Again, like I mentioned earlier, happy new Chinese year. Happy new Chinese, or happy 2024 to all the people who celebrate Chinese New Year, but also to everyone. It's always good to celebrate anything anyway. So we celebrate that. Going back to the things we're going to cover now as I got back. Let's go to Sideshow Collectibles. Let me go back to where we were. So let's go to Sideshow, right here, because I want to talk about this company, HEX Collectibles. You can find this piece also, Senju Hashirama. You can also find it as Spec Fiction. Price is $735. This is going to release between October and December of this year. Of course, that's always subject to change. $735. Now, Senju Hashirama. If you're familiar with Naruto Shippuden, he is the first Hokage. So he is an important figure there. God of Shinobi, as they call it. The original, the real OG. So this one comes with interchangeable portraits, as far as I know. It does have what I really like about HEX Collectibles. Does amazing work. This is for those who do know who HEX Collectibles is. It is technically the company of the studio, Hive Studio, which is a studio that has an amazing work. Mostly well known. A lot of stuff that we're doing in collaboration with XM Studios, doing amazing stuff. But their own company that produces or manufactures for them or sells the products, in this case, it's HEX Collectibles. Hive Studio started just as a designing company, but now they have their own company that produces their own products or sells their own products under the same banner. You know, don't ask me why they couldn't just simply have it, call it just, you know, Hive Collectibles or whatever instead of just a studio, but that's how they wanted to do it. Now, this looks amazing. As soon as I saw it, what I really like about this piece, and I gotta be honest with you, is how well put together this piece is. Sometimes, like as I mentioned earlier, with a lot of this anime stuff, they're so busy, they have so much stuff going on that you feel like, okay, it's so much to see and there's no point of reference, or there's nothing to look at. This, they went with a very It's a museum pose, which is a simple pose, but it's so well designed that it's not taken away. The base is not taken away from the main character. Everything looks in good balance, and I really like the way they did it here. This is a lot of big companies to choose from, you know. Take your pick. Yeah, there's so many. Like, there's so many companies now, you know, that you have to be very choosy. But some companies always shine more than others. Some companies, they are better at doing certain things. And I think, like in this case, HEX Collectibles is a company that High Studio does amazing work for sure. They do great detail. Like, you can see him right there standing in this very stoic pose, and he has this roll that he always carries on his back, of, you know, with the seals and stuff like that. Trying to remember the scroll of seals, and it looks, you know, he's holding it right there. What I like about the base, as you can see with this tree and the clouds and the smokiness there and the greenery there, it looks really well detailed. Even in his armor, you can see the battles, you can see the damage, his hair flowing. Great detail. The base is well done. That is like his home. Technically, that's what I was reading through the details. It's kind of like to represent his home, his village, and it looks so good. It's such a well detailed. It's not a small base, as you can see. They don't make small bases, but it's so well balanced that it's not overpowering. You can see the detail at the back, but it's not overpowering. At the end of the day, you want to look at him, at the character. That's what you want to keep your eyes on, and it looks great. The detail, the pose they chose, the whole concept design. Here you can see with the symbol there, and you can see the village or the building. Very nice detail. It tells a story right next to the guy. It is a beautiful representation of this character. It's 28 inches tall. That's great height, and it looks really fantastic. I think this is the other one of the two I can see here. This is probably my favorite one. It looks a lot better. Looks better than the effects here. It just looks fantastic. It's a very nice, I would say, HEX Collectibles, and a company again that Chinese company that it does amazing work, and it's one of those companies that when you look at it, you really can see that it stands against the others. You know, any other company. It's one of those that stands tall in comparison to many other companies. Limited to only 300 pieces. I think it's fantastic. This is definitely, you're a fan of this character. You're a fan of Naruto Shippuden. Definitely, this is a piece that you're gonna enjoy. Hey, Knight, how you doing, my friend? Welcome. Always nice to see you too, buddy. So yeah, it's a nice piece. Definitely, yeah, I would say, again, you can find it here. You can go to Spec Fiction. You can find it in other places. Definitely, these are the options that I would recommend. Now, let's go to, now talking about High Studio, talking about those companies. Let's talk about one of the partners that they have worked with, which in this case is XM Studios. Let's go to XM Studios. And we're going to go XM because there's a piece that we need to talk about, and is this Symbiote Spider-Man, which honestly, as soon as I saw it, I think that there's a lot of good things about this one. There's a couple of things that we can complain about, and we're gonna go through on detail with this one. Of course, this is the max edition that they want to achieve, is 299 pieces. Again, XM Studios sells a product that is highly limited. This is available in the Middle East, as you can see, Afghanistan, Bahrain, Brunei, China. It's also in Asia and Southeast Asia. So it's limited to those countries because that's what how the Marvel license works for XM Studios. However, you can still order through Spec Fiction, so you can circumvent that you're in America. The retail price for this one is around $1,169.10 if you're on the prestige side. So that means that you have bought in the past and you had the extra discount, which is actually 1,300 Singapore dollars. So it's gonna be around, I would say, $1,500. No. It should be less. Let me go back because, you know, sometimes I forget the exchange. So let's say 1,300. So it's gonna be like around $1,000, like $965. That's the exchange right now. So plus the shipping, so it's gonna be somewhere around there. You're gonna pay like $1,300 US dollars if you purchase this. You gotta pay a deposit of $400. Now let's see who was involved here. Of course, this is all the places that is available. the companies that you can go for in all these countries where there's the license. This was the artist involved here. Is the sculptor is In-Hyuk Lee. I've never heard of him. Ray To is also another one. Jonah Buceta, Paul Tan as a 3D sculptor, Jeremy Jab, and the XM Studios design and development teams involved. So a lot of these are new faces to me. But looking at the piece, let me go to the pictures. I'll tell you this. It's good. It's good. I think they went for the more 80s look with the symbiote on this one. It doesn't have like the 90s. It's more like the early 80s when he was in the black suit. It's spider design that he has in his chest feels more like a Venom type. It does have more of that vibe. It just feels that it's a mix between those two. I think that the eyes look a bit too low in his face. I wish they were a little bit higher. If they're gonna go for the 80s look, they might as well just make it a little smaller, not as big as the 90s, in my opinion. The spider looks too big in the front. It might work, but I will tell you this, like, kind of give you an idea. When you look at different things, and I'm going here kind of, let's see if we can pop something from the internet, and we look at the Secret Wars. Like, I don't know if we can look at the cover there. We're gonna try, which I don't think we're gonna be able to see it. Here you can see, just to give you an idea, you can see the spider kind of looks okay. I can actually look at the spider the way it's designed. I just find it a little too big. Maybe they could just go a little smaller, more center the legs. That would probably be better. I feel like it's just too big. It feels like it's actually, he has the chest is too low, and it feels like it's the chest of Venom rather than the chest of the symbiote. And the eyes, look at the eyes. You know, these are the classic 80s eyes of the symbiote, and here they go for the more of that 90s look. It's okay. It's nothing terrible. But when I'm looking at this, and I don't know if you can see it here, the different interpretations of the symbiote, I don't know. I just find it that there's something off from some angles. I'm not saying that that is the whole case. Trying to see if we can find more of that symbiote Black Spider-Man. Oh, we can go, for example, the Kraven Last Hunt, for example. Let me see like that. And I'm just kind of coming up with this as I go, so bear with me while I'm trying to make my point on this. Kraven Last Hunt. Yeah, like I was telling you, the Spider-Man look, even there, he does have some of those big eyes that you can see. But the way they set him up, I don't know, it's something off. I don't know, maybe it's just me, it's just the angle. At some angle, it looks great, I'm fine. One thing I can point that I am all for it, and I think they're doing fantastic, is that they adding a nose, something that Sideshow's not doing with the Spider-Man figures or statues. At least this one, they decided to add a nose, something that for some reason Sideshow skips all the time, and it's stupid, but at least XM has it correctly. So I would say that this is more of an interpretation of the 80s, which I'm totally fine with it. And at this angle, actually, the spider looks better. So maybe it's just the angle of that photo that was kind of giving me a different vibe. The spider is fine. You know, I'm okay with it. You know, there are pluses. The base is fine. It has a little bit of contrast. Perhaps I would have preferred to have something. Maybe as we saw with the Kraven Last Hunt, maybe like, you know, like a cross or something. He's in a cemetery. That would be great. That will actually be pay homage to that particular time, that particular comic or series that was amazing and very iconic for the time. You know, that would have been amazing if they would have done something. Now the hands, the sculpt is nice, the paint job is good. There's a lot of dark colors here, which can be kind of, unfortunately, can take away some of the detail. But I do like some of the brushing they have, some of the overspraying with the blue, which is something that you gotta do when you do black, and you have to do it right, and not everyone does it right, and I think they did a fantastic job here. Yeah, I would say with the eyes, they're growing on me. Definitely, they're like that. The eyes that, you know, from that era could be better though. Maybe they couldn't just switch a portrait, would do a more classic, smaller eyes, you know, a little more higher, smaller, more slim, and they could just do this one as well. But they just went with one, and this angle is good. This angle is good. I would say, yeah, I would say it's just perhaps it's just different angles. I think it's a really good interpretation. It does feel more how do I say it? It does feel that it's more natural. I think at least the body type is more natural. It's not so over stylized, besides the eyes, of course. But it's sometimes you see what a lot of times they do this over stylized images of the, you know, of the statue, you know, like with the body doesn't feel right. Although he looks thick from some angles, like I think his chest is too big from his back. He's very muscular in the middle. It would be great if it was a little more slim, in my opinion. Now the eyes are growing on me. Again, I'm a fan of the nose. That's something that should always be with every Spider-Man statue. I think that is probably a plus that elevates the portrait, in my opinion. This is a nice picture. This is definitely a great, it is great, of course. But yeah, the body is definitely very, very muscular. He's a very muscular Spider-Man for sure. Whether it's that his body type or whether it's just the symbiote in him, you know, that's just a matter of interpretation. It looks good from certain angles. And again, it would have been nice to have two interchangeable portraits here. I don't know. What do you think, guys? You know, do you think that I'm probably overcritical on this one? I think it looks good. You know, don't get me wrong. I think the paint job's excellent. The base, it's nice with nice detail. I wish there was more contrast or maybe something else there to break some of that monotony of just the brick color and the metallic beings, the kind of like rusty metallic beings and the stone. And, you know, it's like, it's just three colors, to be honest, combined in different ways. And I wish it was something that break that monotony, but because again, you know, he's all black, but and white, of course, and you know, and that's it. Now, the eyes, maybe they couldn't just kind of lighten some of that brushing or the airbrushing on the eyes, you know, to make it more whiter. That would be great, because they're kind of like too gray, at least from the picture. Maybe it's just the picture maybe it's just the pictures that they took and some of the lack of color there that actually gives that vibe, but maybe it's a bit more lighter in person. Who knows? But normally under this type of photos, they have a lot of lighting on top of them, and sometimes they make it look things brighter than what they really are. When you come and look at it in person, then you realize they're not as, you know, they're not as bright. They're mostly dark. And I've seen that with a lot of statues when they look really dark in person. And of course, you know, this is a prototype, but hopefully they can address those issues for the final products. All right, so let's move out of this one. You know, this is the Spider-Man. Now let's go to the competition. And let's go to another version of Spider-Man. We're moving from the black symbiote Spider-Man. Let's go to Sideshow, because this is the piece that perhaps... And this is the only thing that I would say. It's kind of sad, because I think XM was... At the beginning of the week started with that piece, with Spider-Man, all of a sudden to be kind of overshadowed by Sideshow, and they have, because to be honest, if people have to choose between one or the other, I think people are gonna go for this one. If you have to choose between getting that from XM Studios, you only can choose one. You know, the symbiote is fine if you're looking for a symbiote Spider-Man, but if you want a Spider-Man that is really breathtaking and the one that actually is the best of, you can consider it at the top, perhaps even one of the best ever created. This is a high contender. This is a high contender. I was talking last week saying that I think that the Ghost Rider that Sideshow is producing is a high contender for Statue of the Year. I still stand by what I'm saying. But I do believe that this one is also a contender for, if it comes out this year, which I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe it's not going to come until next year. It's also a contender to be up there in one of the best pieces from Sideshow, and perhaps one of the best pieces of the year, one of the best, if not the best piece of the year. Maybe, you know, don't quote me on that yet, but I think it's good. The price $740, some people will complain about the price. I think it's fair in comparison to some of the other things that they have selling. I think they went a little high, but not super high, and still it's a huge piece with a lot of prices. Now on the details here, The people involved: Ryan Peterson is the sculptor, Ian McDonald's the designer here, Casey Lopez the painter, always doing amazing work, by the way. The Sideshow design development team involved in the design and the development, of course. What else? So now let's look at the piece. And there's so many pictures. This is such a beautiful piece. As soon as we, of course, we saw on the 12 days of Sideshow, there was a lot that was shown with the statue that really kind of hinted at something beautiful. And I'm glad that in the end, it is, you know, what we were hoping. And it is a beautiful representation. And not only that, I love the concept here that the Sinister 6, the original Sinister 6, in this smoke that comes around, kind of like a, you know, ethereal image right next to it. And, you know, some people were a bit afraid that it will be gimmicky because we have seen other statues doing it. When we see XM Studios, they did it with their Spider-Man rogues and the Wonder Woman rogues, and you see all this. So that it is a beautiful concept. It's a beautiful idea to presenting those enemies, the rogues gallery, right that way. And, you know, sometimes you think, of course, all companies borrow from each other in ideas and they implement it in different things. This is not a copy of that because it's a different statue, but definitely the idea of bringing those rogues around it, which is not something new, has been done in the past by other companies, even Diamond Select Toys back in the day, even Korobuki has done it in the past. Some companies have done it over the years. But I think this is a really nice way to depict the foes, the rogues, Spider-Man rogues, in the most important way, which are the Sinister Six, in a really nice way. This is a gorgeous piece, and looking at it, it's just amazing. You know, they did a fantastic job. It's so well balanced. My fear would be that the base would overpower Spider-Man, but every part of the statue, even the characters here, you see Sandman, you see the Vulture, you see Mysterio right there in the middle, you see Kraven, you see Electro, you see Dr. Octopus, Dr. Ock. So you see them, they are very clear. They are there, their front face. That's something that I have problems with some of the statues that XM Studios was doing with with the Batman or even Wonder Woman. Some of the characters were not facing you, they were facing other way. It's so clever that they did it this way because now you can see them front and center. You're not missing anything. Perhaps the only one that is a bit missing there is Mysterio, but he's mysterious anyway, so he's kind of hidden there, but you can see him still. You know, his big head, you know, his big crystal ball head. So it looks good. And look at this one. This is the one type of piece that definitely is a centerpiece. You don't need to have others. If you only want to have one for a quarter scale statue, that's what I'm thinking right now. This is the one that you can have. And as a standalone piece, looks amazing. I love the detail. Some people are complaining about the color, that the lighter blue, maybe with a darker blue. I'm okay with the lighter blue. I think it does kind of add to the contrast. They went to this lighter blue because they have, in my opinion, if they have gone with a more darker blue, then a lot of this stuff would be lost, because you have so much the contrast. You need to have something that contrasts, that is different from everything else, because you can see everything, in this case, the smoke, the figures of the others are all the same color, maybe some purple there, but they all kind of look the same. So you want too dark, then the piece is going to look too dark. So this kind of brightens things out. That blue, the light blue and the bright red really brightens the whole piece, and actually allows for Spider-Man to be at the center, to be the focal point, even though the other pieces are, the other characters are there, and they are very visible, and it's nice, but he is the visible part. He is the most important part, because the blue and the red are the first thing that catches your eyes as soon as you enter into the room. So it looks great. Look at this one on this. Let's look at this other picture from this angle. I love that they win. Even his body looks great. This is the difference, I would say, between this and the Symbiote Spider-Man from XM Studios, which I think that Symbiote, he's too bulky, too muscular. You can say that it's the symbiote itself that gives him that bulk, but he looks too bulky. Here, he looks more natural in his body. Of course, this is the classic suit, and he looks more, even as a teenager, he looks more younger, very slim, very athletic, and I do like that balance. And you can say that he has a nose, kind of, but he lacks the nose as the XM Studios, and that definitely, they nail it there. And I feel that this pose is so great. The way he's touching with the fingers, it looks fantastic. Has the big eyes, but it kind of fits well with this concept because they're going with a more modern rendition of Spider-Man, of course. Very 90s look, of course. And he looks really neat there. This is a nice statue. I'm so tempted to get this one, and perhaps I end up doing it because it's a quarter scale piece, and I really don't collect quarter scale, but you know, I haven't really done quarter scales in a long time. But from time to time, there are pieces that definitely kind of make you break your rules. And it's okay sometimes to break rules, to go for one. And what I like about it is because I don't need to collect, you know, everything. But I can collect one that actually stands really nice. And this, technically for this price, you have a diorama. You have not only one piece, you have technically 7 characters in one. It is a beautiful depiction. I like the difference of contours in the purple. I like the portrait. I like the way that each character, they all look great. You know, the figures look amazing. Each one of them, as you can see. Very nice figure. Man. It's really awesome for sure. And yeah, I'm not sure how... Good thing, it doesn't look as thin, this part. Hopefully there's no leaning, you know, some type of leaning problems in the future. It just looks fantastic. Even from the back, which you're not gonna display it from that angle because it's the image of smoke. Man, I'm speechless with this one. You know, what else can I say? Light pre-order low. Fully sculpted with no light up is exactly, yeah, I'm gonna end up doing that. Doing a pre-order. The only good thing I would say about this pre-order with this particular piece is that, of course, I'm sure that they're gonna produce a good amount of it. The demand is there. A lot of people are pre-ordering it. There's no special edition or exclusive here. I'm sure that they're gonna go all out with it, so they're gonna be available. So it's not like you have to technically jump on it unless they say, hey, you know, we're only gonna produce a certain amount at a certain point. But they haven't said none of that, and there's no exclusive, which based on the history of Sideshow, it means that they will produce a good amount. Will they have a second version of this? It's possible. They did it with the most recent one. They always do it. They do different versions with different colors. You may get different versions of it with different colors. But I think this looks great, and I like that face of octopus. The Sinister Six look amazing. Again, Mysterio is the only one that is kind of hidden. But everyone else, but you can see his hand. Now I can see the hand. I was looking at the hands. I thought that was actually Elektra's hand. But no, that's Mysterio's hand. Look at that hand. Each one is showing some of his power. He's showing his hand. Elektra showing his hand. Craven is showing his hand, and also Dr. Ock. Doc Ock is showing the hands and the tentacles, which is, it's such a beautiful piece. It's such a, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful pieces. I think Sideshow did an amazing presentation with 12 days of Sideshow. There was a lot of good things that they showcased there. Beautiful things. And there's always a testament, a proof that this company, regardless of the things that we can be critical of Sideshow, the things that sometimes we can say Sideshow doesn't do this or doesn't do that, it's a company that still is at the top of its game. Yes, Prime1 Studio is an amazing company that has done and continues to do and prove that they can do they can top everything. But Sideshow still manages to produce in what they do to actually do it better than anybody else. What they do well. When they manage the Marvel franchise, they do it well. When they manage the more unique style of things, they do it well. So it's a good company that you cannot discount because, you know, sometimes it's going to be the haters and the people that say the Sideshow is dying or whatever. This is another proof that they're not dying. There's a company that actually has a lot of potential, has good artists and payroll, has got a lot to do, a lot to give, and they're willing to go the extra mile. They're gonna go the extra mile, and they're gonna produce some of the best depictions. Now, I'm divided as many of you in the sense of I think that Sideshow kind of keeps repeating the same thing. We just have the news that we're gonna get another Superman PF, which is another one, and they continue this cycle of producing the reproducing things. However, when they do it well, to the point that it's hard to hate a company that is not only giving you like subpar art, they giving you the best art possible. Yeah, now we can say that QC might be always a problem to deal with, not always the best, but for the most part, Sideshow is a company that you can trust, and also you can trust in the way that they handle things and customer service and all of that. So yeah, I will tell you this is a piece that I already covered a little longer than I was anticipating. But there's nothing to really complain. I cannot really complain about it. Perhaps it's just the lack of real nose, but that is just meaningless. When you look at the whole thing, it looks so 90s. It looks really great. It does have all the pluses to be a great piece. It's a center standalone piece. It's one that you can have, and you don't need to have any other piece. You can have that. If you're a big fan of Spider-Man, if you don't have a space for any statues, so you only need one statue, this is a statue that you can have. Is it better than the original comic kit that actually in many ways is as big as a PF? That is my opinion. That is a grail for a reason, because it was the first one. But there's been so many great Spider-Mans over the years. Fantastic, each one in their own right. But in my opinion, this is topping some of those. And it's getting to the point that you realize that this might be the one that you need to change, you use, and you need to get rid of the other ones and replace for this one. Unless you have the original PF, original comic kit, then you keep that one. The original PF, which is the older piece, you know, that is a piece that served its purpose for its time, but I think this is a much better rendition for sure. So yeah, I like this one. Beautiful piece. Congratulations to Sideshow. Congratulations to anybody that decides to go for it, because man, they did a really terrific job with this one. Ryan Peterson, Ian McDonald, Casey Love, all the guys, they did a fantastic job. So congratulations. Look at this picture. I was looking at this one. Nice. You can even have it like this. They actually giving you the idea. You can display it like this, you know, nothing wrong with it. It just looks gorgeous the way it is. Beautiful piece for sure. All right, my friends, moving on. And I was looking at my thing, and I think my thing died. I thought my battery was good. Seems like it wasn't. I was charging my phone and I have my notes there. In any case, whatever. Good thing I can do things by memory now. I think. Oh, it's coming back. I think I'm gonna take you, now that we're here. Well, you can find it here, but I'm gonna take you to PCS Collectibles. Now we move it into the 1/3 scale. So for that reason, I'm taking you Premium Collectible Studio, PCS. They have a 1/3 scale statue that, in my opinion, looks fantastic. And we're looking at this one here, which is the Species Platinum exclusive. This is based on this movie of the 90s. When this movie came out, the original came out in 1995. I remember this movie. I would say that it wasn't not the greatest, but it became a cult following. A lot of people love it, of course, because of the girl. The actress was there. Of course, the actress was young, and there was some nudity there. And of course, you know, like porn kids, porn dogs, definitely gonna love that kind of thing. But yeah, Natasha Henstridge, that's her name. So that was her debut in film, and she was very young, pretty, of course. So this is a 1/3 scale, only 200 pieces. This is on their horror line. According to this, it's going to release sometime September and November of this year. You never know. You can pay in full. You can do the NRD. You can do the payment plan, all of that. Now, there's the difference here. This is going to stand 26 inches tall. Again, it's a 1/3 scale. And there's a couple of things that you're going to get this piece. The difference between this or the one in Sideshow or any other place, you know, if you go to Big Bad Toy Store, if you go to Spec Fiction, you're going to get the regular one that doesn't have the interchangeable portrait with the face of the actress. If you want that particular piece, then you need to come to Premium Collectibles, to PCS website, because that's where you're going to have it. And I will tell you, this portrait looks great. It looks good. They did a fantastic job with it. The whole piece, this is definitely for the horror fan, the people who love horror stuff. They need to have the horror stuff. They are straight collectors of that. If you really love this film, which, you know, this is the thing, the film was highly criticized back in the day, poorly reviewed as a copy, you know, of Alien and so many other things, but he was successful in the movie theater. A lot of people went to watch it. I went to watch it like many other, you know, teenagers of the time. I watched it with a lot of, you know, it was a popular film. And then, of course, you got the second film. Then there was a third film that was on TV. And there was another film. There were two more that were on TV. Or they were on DVD. But great detail. I will tell you. There's a couple of things when I'm looking at the way they did it. When you look at that, there's more like this resin that is very clear. By the way, the people who were involved in the production of this piece, if you say it that way, or this in this case of the movie, the people that did the prosthetics, actually they were the guys involved with Alien films. So they are the ones who did the pretty much the prosthetics, and it looks, and that's one of the reasons why it was kind of like a cult classic. People love the outfit and all of that. They also it was at the beginning, we're doing a lot of CGI electronic stuff. They were doing makeup and prosthetics, but also they were doing some computer animated stuff. So it was interesting. Now, if you're buying this, not only you get the exclusive swap out portrait, which I think this is the way to go. You can go for the other one, but having the swap out is amazing in my opinion. You get the gloves that they're now giving, the little brush that they're giving you, which is kind of neat, but you can get those things. You don't have to get for that reason. I don't think that's a selling, they should give him, but the fact that they kind of saying, oh, we're going to give you this as an extra to incite you. I think just the extra portrait, that's more than enough to tell people, hey, you can buy from us. We'll give you something of value. Then you get the little token and the ticket and all of that. You get the in this case, the little certificate of authenticity, all of that, which, PCS has been doing for years. It's a very interesting one. As it is as here as a monster, looks fine, but having the interchangeable portrait, to me, that's the selling point. It looks great, nice pose, very well detailed, very nice design. I would say PCS has been killing it by what they've been doing as a company. The other stuff, I think this year is going to be amazing. At the same time, my only fear with this company is that they are doing too much. They're doing too many different licenses, too many things. They have different directions, so they're pulling many collectors from all different directions, and that can also kind of water down what you do, and also your ability to manufacture things, because you're investing your money into so many different things. So do they have the backing, financial backing, to do everything as they're doing it? Can they handle all of this? Only time can tell. But this is a great piece, and definitely another sign that the PCS is definitely doing great. And looking at the pictures, it looks cool. It's very different, and I'm glad. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I like it when companies do things different. They're not just doing the same thing again. And this is a franchise that has been dormant for a long time. It's a cult classic, but you don't really get to see collectibles. I've seen a few, very few, over the years, but it looks good. Nice paint job. Definitely, there's a lot of great detail. For monsters, horror fans, this is definitely a great piece to have. And if you're a fan of this film, man, I'm just gonna go into all the detail. It looks good. Even as ugly as it is, it's still a sexy piece for sure. And I think that's what you want to incite, because that's what they try to do with the film originally. The sexiness of the actress, or the young actress, also as a monster, as a devourer of men. But it's cool. Very cool. So I would say PCS, this is the place to come if you want that exclusive. If you can go any other place if you want just the regular, but at this point, just come here. Better deal, and definitely you get the ultimate version. So that is definitely very cool. Here you can see maybe some pictures of the images of what they were trying to do. This company definitely, again, is doing so many different things, and that's good. And at the same time, it could be bad. It depends how you look at it. All right. Let's move on, and I want to take you now to Prime1 Studio. Let's go to Prime1. And Prime1 Studio, it's been kind of quiet, and I'm not gonna deny it. Of course, it's the lunar year, so things are a little bit quiet, so they're not doing a lot of stuff, but they have two new things that they showcase. This is the Velociraptor. Is already on pre-order at Sideshow for those who are interested. But what they have this week, and we're going to look at it. And there's one here that it's not coming up. Before we're going to look at the Celtic Predator. This is the main reason we're here. But I want to look at this Harry Potter new statue. This is not on pre-order yet. I want to kind of take a quick glance of this. This is going on pre-order next week. But the interesting thing about this piece, just kind of have an idea of this one, is the fact that this is some good news in the sense, or this is some news that you need to pay attention to, that actually can mean something new in a new direction for Prime1 Studio. And it's important to keep that in mind. This is a Prime collectible figures. Prime collectible figures are figures that they've been producing so far, and the 1/6 scale. However, this Prime collectibles primarily have been like vinyl and all that, but now it seems that, and they mentioned it, that they would do something, that there will be a combination of materials, and in some case, I think also that includes, you know, polystone. And this is a polystone. When you look at the details here, just to give you an idea, it's made out of materials. It says polystone and other materials. So it's going to be a balance of them. So I'm not sure if the base is polystone and the piece is some type of vinyl ABS, because on this type of Prime collectibles, they have done a lot of vinyl stuff. I'm not sure what is the thing, but it's $200. And I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. If you ask me about the films, I never watched them. I have never watched them. My brother, my sister-in-law, they're fans, so they follow it. I don't. So but looking at this, it really kind of, I have a lot of questions. I don't know exactly what we can expect about this, but it's some good news to see that the possibility of this company to kind of keep pushing and to not only to do the Japanese anime stuff that they have done so far, or even the Jurassic part they do in smaller scale, that they can actually explore other collections, all the collectibles, other franchises in 1/6, which is good for me as a 1/6 collector. And I think this is a great piece. It's a simple piece. It's more in the vein of what Weta would do, but it looks great. Of course, it's a smaller scale. If you compare this to the bigger scales, you may lose some of that detail because it's such small. You have to kind of compromise in some of the detail. But the piece and what they chose to do with this one, it looks really neat. And definitely, this is the type of statue that is going to fit well for you know, collectors that they love this franchise, they love this, and this is something very unique, very different. So to me, again, I'm looking at that. It's great detail. But most importantly, I'm looking at from the perspective of what is it the Prime1 is trying to do in the future. Is this opening the door for them to produce more smaller stuff? I think so. I think the potential is there. They have mentioned it. They mentioned it on the most recent Next Level showcase thing. They mentioned that they are going into some route. They give us a little hints through the whole video about what they're trying to do. But so far, we don't know exactly what they want to do. But the opportunities are there. I have talked about it before. This is kind of taking us in that direction. And maybe this is start. And $200 is a really great price. Here are other pieces. And I'm not sure this piece is already on sale. This is something that I totally don't understand. Or I don't know. Oh, these are coming soon right here. Oh, so this is great. That gives more potential. So they have different versions. And they're going to keep bringing that. So are they going to do that with other franchises? You know, only time can tell. So we'll see. They're going to have different versions. Interesting. To me, I'm interested to see what they are going to do. I think it's a good price point. If they keep doing it as polystone, which make it even more premium, I think there's a lot of potential and they can sell well. And there's a lot of fans out there. And I hope that they not only do this for Harry Potter, hope they do that for other collectibles. Because I think Prime, with the quality and the artistry of Prime1 Studio, they can accomplish a lot. And they can have a really good market out there beyond just the 1/3, beyond the quarter scale, which they have primarily the 1/3, but all the big stuff that they produce, which is large, is beautiful, but also very expensive. And in many ways unattainable for most collectors. So we'll see what happens. That only time can tell. But this is going to pre-order next week. But they already have it there. They're showcasing what it's coming. So that's great. Now, I want to talk about, well, going back to what we were talking first, I want to cover, and here you can see another of those pieces, the Reptilia, the 65, which is also pretty, this PVC and some other things that they're doing on the smaller scale. But this is Celtic Predator. This is what we're going to cover now. And this is $3,000. Is trying to think if this is at 1/3 scale. I think it is a 1/3. Yeah, it is a 1/3 scale. This is from Alien vs Predator. We saw the video. It's been probably out for a while since we saw the video when they showcased it. Finally has gone on pre-order. You got the regular version, but you got the bonus version, which is the ultimate version, which is the one. I'm sure that it's gonna end up at Sideshow. Eventually, you're gonna see any of the two versions. I don't know how long that's gonna take, but the bonus part, you got the swappable parts. It's limited to only 150 pieces, and you have different heads, different portraits to do different things. This is a very interesting looking piece, and looking at the detail, it's impressive. The other pieces in the back are technically the same piece, but you can do certain things to display in different ways with the different portraits. and that looks amazing. I will tell you what, I have said it before, Prime1 Studio is doing really amazing as a company when it comes about the Predator stuff. I think they are the best of the best. Other companies like Hollywood Studios and companies in the past, they did amazing work. But at this point in time, Prime1 Studio is the best of the best. There's no better representations of the Predators than what they do. And it's just, they are amazingly looking. You know, they look amazing. You know, they are amazing to look at. They're wonderful pieces. Great detail. This one has so many different parts. The swappable parts it's swappable part galore. You have so much to do with it, so many ways to display it. It's a clear museum pose, but it's a museum pose with so much character, and all those different weapons and portraits actually give it a different vibe. It's like you having different versions of the same thing, you know, but it's like having, this is the great thing I would say. Sometimes swappable parts can be gimmicky, but at the same time, sometimes they can change the whole demeanor of the whole appearance of a statue in a way that it feels like you have a totally different statue. And in this case, even though it's a museum pose, there's so much that it's interpreted through the different interchangeable parts that it's just gorgeous. You know, it's a gorgeous piece to look at. 95 centimeters, almost a meter tall. It's pretty tall. This is definitely for the fans of this. And with the different masks, different portraits, it's like you have so many different ways to display this one. It looks good. You know, of course, you know, you can compare it to the other Predators they have done. I think there's so many different variations of Predator. Some people not crazy about this Alien versus Predator film, you know, but hey, you know, it's also part of the Predator franchise. It's not a bad franchise at all. It's a good film. It's a training film. But man, as always, you know, they have like so many pictures to look at. 113 pictures. And look at the detail. That's the thing, you know, when they take pictures, they go out. They go all out, and they take so many pictures that show you so many different ways that you can display this one. And it looks amazing either way. So yeah, I can keep going, but we're gonna skip that part. It looks really neat. Again, as I mentioned, this company continues to be amazing in what they do. All right, let's look at this one. Some of the comments. It says, I like the price point on Harry Potter. It's looking pretty good. I think so too. $200 is a fair price. I wonder if they will do a bigger scale. Yeah, I think so. They have already plans for that, for bigger pieces. So I'm sure that they already released, I think, one or two. So they'll do it. Bird statue's massive. Good for Prime1 doing justice for Predator fans. Yeah, I think so. These pieces are just the best. And yeah, they're not for everyone, but they're the ultimate representation of Predator. And at that level of quality, I don't think you can surpass it. You know, what else can they do? What else companies will be able to do? One that actually has sounds? You know? There's no way, you know, like you can put electronics and all that kind of thing, but it's such a beautiful, and the Predators that I've seen that they have released, they're always amazing. That company does amazing. You know, it's in another level for sure. So beautiful piece. For those who are interested, definitely it's a pretty penny, but it's the ultimate representation of the Celtic Predator. All right, so we have that one under the belt. There's one more company. Let me drink some water that I want to cover tonight. This other company that we're gonna cover tonight, and let me come to Spec Fiction. We're gonna come to Spec Fiction because I want to show you and this is another ultimate rendition of something, which is this one right here. We're looking at the Iron Man Mark II life-size statue. This is a life-size. This is for, you know, we were looking at the $3,000 for a 1/3 scale statue. A lot of money. But when you want a life-size, you're looking at 13, almost 13, it's $1,250. But it's within the, after you do the shipping, all that is over $13,000 for a statue. Only 129 produced, and this is Queen Studios. Queen Studios have produced some of these life-size statues before, They're not made out of polystone. If it was polystone, it would be too expensive to ship. They're mostly, as you can see, let's see, it says they are made out of, they have some resin materials. The base, I think, is always resin, but also polyurethane, so PC. So it has more of a fiberglass material inside, a lot of plastic elements. It does have light up features, all of that. So it's lighter, for, of course, to make it easier to transport, but it is a very expensive. This is for the high-end collector. This is for the one that has too much money to spend, that is has probably a garage full of like with 50 cars and doesn't need to, you know, like, oh, okay, this is just a drop in the bucket, you know. That's pretty much it. This is who was going to buy this one. And the normal folk like you and I, you know, unless you have the money, if you do, more power to you, my friends. But this is our, here you can see all the statues. But let's start. This is to give you an idea of the scale. This is a life size, so it's represent the actual statue. The width is 115 centimeters. The height is 214, so it's over 2 meters. It's pretty high. It's 6 feet, I think. That would be 2 feet. It's around 6 feet. 6 something. The depth is 115 centimeters. This is not my favorite Iron Man suit. But this is definitely, if you know, this is for the guys like we were seeing in that picture, who are already collecting all of this, already have all these versions, and they have released all these versions. The one that can afford to have all of them. Look at that Hulkbuster right there. Who has the money for that Hulkbuster? If this is costing $13,000, that is what, $50,000 or more? This is definitely one that you use for a museum. This is something that you display on a museum or some type of amusement park or something. That is pretty much the place where you're gonna have to do this, where you can actually put it on your taxes or whatever, because it's an expense. But the average folk, it's you have to have too much money in order to blow, and I'm sure people are there to do it. It's great, you know. Queen Studios, this is the Queen Studios. They go for the high market, but they do crazy stuff. Some of these companies in China, they just it blows my mind what they're willing to produce, and people are buying it. You know, like particularly a lot of rich Chinese entrepreneurs over there that are probably buying this, because, you know, I don't know if in America some people are buying it. You know, I am sure there are, but this is just on another level, you know, the cost of doing something like this. But when you look at it, we have to appreciate that there's so much detail. Of course, they take this from the same source material and they put all this. You know, I'm more with the, you know, give me the little Threezero little figure for $100. I go for it for the $13,000. But it's good. It's cool. Again, this is a museum piece. It's something that you're gonna do. You can do so many. This, you know, you can change parts. You can put the light up feature. At this, some people would say at this price point, it should be like wearable. You should be able to actually put it together and actually dress up as Iron Man. And that would be awesome if they're able to do something like that. It's cool though, and the light up, the LEDs, they look cool. Great detail. The Mark II, that gives you an idea what they're doing there with all the pictures. Great detail. Look at the light box where they're taking all the pictures. A lot of light. It's a very bright piece, no doubt about it. So yeah, again, if you have $13,000 right now to spare, go ahead, go for it. It says now 3% when you pay via wire transfer, sell it, or Venmo. Send me a Venmo, and for $13,000. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Or sell it. You know, I don't know. If somebody has money like to Venmo like $13,000, then you realize that they have too much money to spare. I know, common sense. But yeah, the internal lightings includes on the eyes, the art reactor, the palm repulsors, the calf, the side of chest. Cool. You know, come to Spec Fiction if you want this one. So that is that is very, very, very cool. All right, my friends, this is the last piece of the night. I don't know, we're gonna say a couple of minutes maybe to close out. If there's any comments that you want to leave, anything, any questions, this is the time to do them. I want to say again to all of you, thank you very much for those who have been here. I do appreciate it, those who have taken time. It's always amazing for me to see that regardless of the, you know, I don't have the big following. I don't have like other channels that have like a lot of people watching. Perhaps I'm not as, I don't know, as likable, or perhaps I'm not as I just have 13. Yes, I'll give you $13. Like, what the heck? Who's gonna send a Vino $13,000? You know, I would say, like, I may not be as perhaps likable or charismatic as some of the other guys on YouTube, but I do appreciate what I do. Everything I do, I try to do it the best way I can. As you know, my reviews, my videos, I wish I was able to produce videos daily. I do this live stream. Sometimes I'm tired, but I do it because there's so many things to cover, and I like to talk about these things. I enjoy it. It's also a good time for me to unwind and to kind of clear my mind after a long week, and dealing with this or dealing with that with people is not always easy, as you know. I'm sure that you all go through the same challenges, dealing with customers, dealing with employees, with people you work with, and employers. You know how it is. So it's not an easy thing, but I do appreciate the support. I enjoy the time. Again, I wish all of you a happy Chinese New Year. If particularly you celebrate it, but Happy New Year. But I want to, thank you. As I always do, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have everything timestamped. I always do. So that way you can always come back. If you miss something, you step out or whatever, you don't have the opportunity to watch it entirely, you can always go through those sections and go through those things and go through everything. It's organized that way. I like to do it that way. It works that way. Of course, this weekend, the Sunday Super Bowl, 49ers. I'm a Niners, part of the Niners Nation, so I'm good. I'm really looking forward to the game. But there, spend time with the family, maybe do some gaming over the weekend, but also I have other reviews that I already did that I need to work on. Thank you, Late Night. Great show, good info, great escape from the daily grind. I know. It says what it is. It's escape, and I'm glad that I get the opportunity to do it. And I'm glad for those who are here. Thank you too, Late Night Trip. I wish you the best weekend. Yeah, so have fun this weekend. That's what I'm going to do. And really, but yeah, this is great. I think just because it was New Year's, of course, there are a lot of things that didn't happen, or there's not many companies announcing things. But, I would say, kind of take the respite a bit, because I know they're coming, and they're coming with a vengeance. They'll come with a vengeance. There'll be a lot of things this year. Every company is doing amazing. There's so many products that they're producing out there. There's no lack of products, and definitely you have to make a plan. You need to know. And what I like to do here is to get into the information, but also to talk about collectibles. I love to look at the art, just to kill the time, just to chill a little bit with you. And really talk about all these beautiful things that companies are producing. We may not afford everything, but at least we can enjoy it and really talk about. We can talk good things. We can talk crap too about the things the companies are doing, the things that we don't think are right. Thank you, Squad Captain. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I want to say to all of you, thank you. Appreciate it. I'll stick around just for 1 minute. If there's any questions that pop out, I will love it. Next week, I don't know what next week is going to be. There's a couple of things that I hope the Sideshow also releases. We don't know when that Wolverine and Colossus statue is going to come out. We don't know. But I'm sure that it's coming soon. But every company is doing some great things. When are you going to play COD on your other channel? That's a good question. I've been thinking, I haven't had the opportunity. I gotta be honest. I've been thinking I want to play. And sometimes even at night, I'm like, I'm going to play tonight. But I've come home. I'm so tired. And I've been working on editing videos. I haven't really had the opportunity to do anything. I really do. I do want to start doing it on the weekends more often. This weekend is not going to happen. Perhaps next week. I want to start just going back to playing. Last night I was playing Battlefield 2042. Having some fun with that. Definitely I want to go back to start doing some of those things. And I will tell you when that happens. You definitely kind of revive that gaming channel a bit, because it's kind of dormant. All my channels are dormant. The only one that is this. I'm doing some stuff, but on the podcast they're doing some shorts, some of the episodes of last year. I need to work on that new season. I think in the spring. Now the spring is coming so soon. You're gonna start working on episodes that are gonna pretty much go live in the summertime. But yeah, my gaming channel is a big thing from my heart. I love my gaming channel. And I love playing video games. And I definitely need to start doing more of those live streams there. but also to review games and talk about games is something that I want to do. But right now with my schedule, with my job, it's just like, it's almost hard. It's very hard to get to that place, but we'll get there. We'll get there with your support, your friendship. Thank you. You motivate me every time you're here, or every time you leave your comments. It really motivates me to give it the extra mile, to go the extra mile and do the things, and that's all we can do. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you, definitely not this weekend. This weekend I know President's Day I'll be off, which I'm gonna probably use that day for streaming on my gaming channel. President's Day I'll definitely gonna be doing and definitely I do some COD and some other games, but yeah, first person shooters primarily. So my friends, I want to say God bless you, all of you. Thank you very much for your support. Take care, my friends. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you're gonna watch. If you have to work, peace out. I hope the best. A great weekend, successful, and whatever you gotta do. I got also things to do here in the house. I gotta do, so I'll be busy in the morning doing some chores, trying to clean up my attic because I had so much stuff in my attic. I need to clean it up so I can put more collectibles there too. That's pretty much it. I got so many boxes out there. I gotta go through all of it, and I gotta get rid of some to organize also my box because I have a mess out up there. So my friends, take care. God bless you. Have a good night.